All right, guys, I finally got my Volt light. They brought it by Camel. That was 1.25 inch diameter. I just had to sand the threads a little bit, and I got it to fit perfectly in the hole. It's bottomed out there real nice. And I'll show you underneath what I did here in a minute. I hooked this battery pack up, test to see if it works, because sometimes this Chinese stuff don't. I've been bit by that before. But anyway, 12.5 volts. So I think that's going to be real good. I don't think I'm going to have to modify the tank anymore, so we're going to start cleaning this, I think, with the acetone now. I just drilled a hole off to the side there. I used a die grinder to do that with a pointy carbide tip on it. And I'm going to heat shrink those wires where they're going through that penetration so they don't get nicked. Spread those out a little bit to leave room for the washer nut. There's where I sanded those threads just a little because it fit pretty tight. But that snaps down in there really good. And I'm not going to need anything additional to hold that. That's just going to, I thought maybe I'd have to put an O-ring or something around it, but that fits really nice. So anyway, let's see if we can get this tank cleaned out. Hopefully it doesn't leak, right? I'd been waiting on that because I thought I might have to extend this up a little bit. I didn't know if I had enough depth here, but I do. So anyway, let's clean this. I just poured in a gallon of acetone and I threw 23/8 nuts in there to shake around. I'm gonna let this set in that position for about an hour. And then I'm gonna shake it around and change the position of the tank until I evenly get it. I get the acetone coated on all the surfaces. And then after 4 or 5 hours, I'm gonna pour it out of here and see what it looks like. Now we're about an hour into this tank cleaning. I got the tank setting with the front down right now. I got a gallon in there. I would say it's probably just catching the bottom of the tank here and probably up to about here. So let's shake this around a little bit and then we'll change position of it some. I got 23/8 nuts in here. Try it up like that for a while. That's probably getting us about right. Right about right here. So by the time we do that, that's pretty much the whole bottom, and then we'll try it side to side, I think. The gas cap leaks a little bit. So I want to get these two positions done first because it might drip out a little bit in the next two positions. But by that time we should have it, I'm hoping. I'll have to see if I can find a rubber seal to go underneath that gas cap. I'm thinking like maybe one of those rubbers off the bottom of a bathtub trip lever tub waste, you know. I bet I could trim one of those up and get in there. Just mowed the yard. It's either been 95 degrees or raining. I said that in the last video. Today it changed. It's like 74 degrees, a nice breeze. Feels like heaven out here today. Even Bubba likes it. Right, Bub? Look at the camera, Bub. You're on TV. Ah, my boy. Ooh, why does Bubba get all the attention? I hadn't said anything in the other videos. It's been about a month ago now, but my big dog Mac that you always would see in the videos, the old dog, he passed away. This is really the first time I've been able to mention it without probably crying. He was by my side for 12 years. I mean, he was always right next to me. Anything I was doing, he was standing right beside me. And Bubba's kind of taking over that position. But anyway, I sure do miss Mac. He was cremated. His ashes are in here right now. I don't know what to do with him for sure, but for right now, he's just been right there. This is on top of there until we meet again at the Rainbow Bridge. And my buddy in there. I just came out and changed the position of this gas tank again, and they got the liner up here in the gas cap hole, and this is where the acetone has been getting to it. That's a good sign, right? I took a rag and I wiped on a little bit right here and shined right up. So that's doing its thing. Give her a few more hours here and just keep changing the position, and hopefully this all works out for us. It's about 5 hours later. I didn't have enough acetone to fill that completely to the brim, so I've had that gas tank sitting in every position possible so it would coat it all the way around. I ended up having so many chunks in there that I put a paint strainer in this funnel, and I poured the acetone back in the can, and this is what's come out of there so far. That liner's just turning into, it's almost like sand. The video that I watched on YouTube where the guy done this, his acetone just kind of turned the same color the gas tank liner was. I think his had like a yellow liner in it. The acetone just kind of poured out like a creamy yellow color. My acetone is staying kind of clear, but it's breaking up in the sand, so I end up with all these chunks. And I think my best bet is going to be to keep leaving it in there for a while, straining it through the strainer, and just do this 3 or 4 times until I can get all the chunks out. And you know, I have a lot of trouble with carburetors. I'll have one little piece of dirt that you can't even hardly see, and it'll screw up a carburetor. Can you imagine? Am I ever going to get that tank clean enough to work? I'll probably run some external fuel filters for a while and just see what happens. But I think those fine screens that are in there now in the petcocks, you know, in here, I might just take them out for the time being, just run a couple big canister filters on that until I see what's going to happen. But anyway, I'm getting ready to pour this out again and see how much more of that I get. And probably just keep doing that a few times. Yeah, I just got that much more. I guess I just keep doing that, but man, what a mess. Wish I'd never put that in there, right? Took that out in the sun. I can look down inside the tank now, and I can see down here where this seam comes together. You wouldn't have been able to see that before, so I think I'm about getting it all melted out of there. I don't think this tank's got any holes in it. Nothing's leaking, and it looks sound everywhere I look at it. I don't know why they would have ever put this in there. I would never put that in a gas tank. Can you imagine having that in your gas tank? Just seems like a bad idea to me. Anyway, keep going here. And this is what I got on the last time. So it's getting better, but you can't see down in there to know that you got it all out, but all the places that I can see are looking pretty good. I don't think you guys can see, but I'm gonna pour it back in there one more time and strain it again and probably go ahead and put some rust cleaner in there and do that afterwards, and then put a big fuel filter on it and call it good. I'm thinking, at least this last time out, I wasn't getting any more of this hard brown stuff. It was mostly just kind of gooey white stuff. That progress, I guess. Gotta be getting close, right guys? I think there was absolutely nothing wrong with this gas tank. I don't know why they ever put that stuff in there, but I sure wish they hadn't. Yeah, that gas tank, I pretty well left that acetone in there all day. And then I just kept flushing it out. Right now it's setting. I bought some of the evapor rust, only had like a quart of it. So I didn't have enough to fill the whole gas tank. So I let that set on the bottom. It would have covered the bottom well, that quart would have. And shook it around a little bit, poured it back out, flushed it a little bit with that. But I really wanted to coat the whole inside of the tank, and I didn't want to have to buy, you know, 2.5 gallons of evapor rust, because it's pretty expensive. So after using the evapor rust on the bottom, I poured it out and I just filled the gas tank with white vinegar, and I got set and clear to the brim with it. And from what I was reading, it says if you're using vinegar to remove rust, to leave it in there 48 hours, or the longer the better. So I've just got it soaking right now, and it's probably been about 16 hours. I'm going to leave that in there probably through tomorrow. And then we'll flush that out a few more times. I'm going to take a little wire fitting brush to them petcock holes and get them cleaned out, get the petcocks cleaned. And then probably after I pour that vinegar out, I'm probably just going to pour some diesel fuel in there and shake it around and coat the inside of the tank with that, you know, to keep it from rusting. And then just put a fuel filter on it and try it. But what a mess. Anyway, I cut this piece of paper, and I've got the seat laying here. I'm going to try to trace this seat out on this piece of paper to see if I can lay the paper on the frame and get hole locations by doing it that way. If it don't work, we'll try something else, you know. To start with, I'm going to try to get this paper roughly cut, and then I'll trim it as needed. Alright, that ought to give me a rough idea where to cut that. So cut this out and lay it on the frame and see what it looks like. Alright, got that cut out. I think I'm going to fold it in half and find the center line on that and then trim it up a little bit so it's a little more symmetrical. Just kind of trimmed the edges off so it was the same all the way around. Basically what I need here is the center line and the basic shape and length. So we'll go out, we'll set that on the frame and see if we can mark on that front frame rail where they've got that hole drilled already. And then we'll transfer it to this seat pan. I've already got this hole drilled here. My thoughts are I'd like to just use it. So if we can find that location, I'd like to use this hole and maybe use this hole that they already have here. I think that'd be enough to hold it pretty good. We get this bolt to go through in the exact location. If this one happens to be a little bit off on the fender, we can slot it a little bit, as long as we get this one right. And what we're going to have to watch here is we don't want the seat pan, we want to make sure that the back of the seat misses this, because it comes out further than the pan. So if we're putting that on there like that right now. We want that seat pan to end about right here at the sissy bar. So let's just put a mark there on each side. Guess we wouldn't really have to. We just know it needs to end right there. Lay our paper on there and try to mark these holes. The seat is stamped manufactured by Bar Enterprise, California. Anybody ever hear of those guys? We know the crease is our center line, so try to mark that hole right in the crease. Guys, that's got to be close, right? Let's try it. This seat had this bracket on it right here with mounting locations, but it didn't work out with the frame, and not knowing the history of this project, I don't think this seat's ever been bolted to that frame, but I think it come off another one. That's the only thing I can figure. It's got one screw holding it. I think there was once two. I'm gonna take this bracket off of here. My hole's gonna end up being up in here somewhere. So anyway, let's get that off of there. Just scratched a hole in that paper. See if we can find the other one. Make sure our center line's right. That looks real good. Okay. All right, guys, we're right here. We're right here. So, see what happens here. Let's find that nut setter thing, see if we can figure out how to use it. What I did while doing that, I had a sleeve over my drill bit so it wouldn't go in too far, you know. That was kind of a pilot hole. Once again, I'll cut a sleeve for this. Be really bad if you were drilling these holes and drill clear through your seat, you know. That wouldn't be a good thing. Anyway, it says to screw these on there until the threads are flush with the bottom of it. And then tighten this up until this is up against the tool. It almost goes. I'm just going to barely touch it with this reamer. And I don't know. That goes in there too deep. I don't want to use that file. I got it. So now, guys, I've been fighting with this, and I couldn't begin to pull these handles. They were man, they pulled hard. I just put a bolt in there with a nut on it, and I held the head of the bolt and I tightened this until I squeezed it together. And that one's in there good and tight now. You can't spin it. So I'm gonna say this one's good. So guess we'll do the same thing and get one more in there and go out and try it on the bike. Yeah, guys, that's all on there, and it's real good and tight. Everything looks centered up good. I didn't have to slot anything. Everything just kind of fit right on the first try. So I'm gonna call the seat done. I did have to drop the oil tank battery box back down to get to that bolt under there. And this one here was hard to get to too. There wasn't too much clearance in between there, but I was able to get it. The seat's done. The only piece we're still waiting on, I got the handlebar switch on. I haven't finished the wiring or zip tied it or nothing yet, but it is there. And it looks the part, you know. The only thing we're waiting on now is a voltage regulator, and I think we got all the pieces here, except for the horn. I didn't order it yet, but I'm just not real concerned about the horn at the moment. The gas tank, oh gosh, I don't know. As I'm talking now, it's probably been about 20 hours. And man, that vinegar is cleaning it up like brand new. I can look down at that tunnel and it just, it's shiny. You can't see it right now, but let me see if I can tip it back a little so you can. Can you see where the vinegar's been sitting? Try to get the light just right. Yeah, look how shiny that's beginning to get. So, we're gonna leave that another day, but I really do think that's gonna look about brand new inside. So I'm very happy with that. Maybe by the next video, the gas tank's on it and we can start it. We're not too far away from riding it, really. Anyway, guard the motorcycles, bub. Don't let anything happen. Don't let anybody steal them, all right? Good boy. Yeah, that's right. Just look vicious. Good job. Looks vicious, doesn't he? I just drove this around for a few blocks. I haven't done anything to change gearing yet. It's still way too high geared. You got to slip a clutch to get it up and moving, you know. But this is the first time I've had it started for a couple months. Just been pretty much sitting there. Get it geared down a little lower and get some brakes on it, and then I could ride it around town and feel comfortable with it, you know. But we'll get back to it. Hey, I think that's going to do it for this video. Please like, comment, share, all them things, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later, Jeremy.